Welcome everybody to a very special edition, very sad edition of the Geek Dad Report. As always, I'm Brian and my co-host Ryan here. Also with us tonight, we have a very special guest, Kyle, who's hosted with me in the past. You will not see his beautiful face because he is having audio, now video, technical difficulties. So you will hear a loud over voice. It may sound a little bit like Jesus Cristo coming down from the skies, but that is Kyle. So say hello, Kyle.
For the watch.
For the watch.
For the watch. Yes. Oh, can we just get started on that?
Okay. Let me give it. Yes, we're going to get started. So first of all, if you're tuning in, this is not spoiler free. We are going to be diving into every horrible detail of the season finale of season 5 of the Game of Thrones. So you have been warned. That said, screw you, HBO. Screw you. Okay. I love Jon Snow. He is my favorite character on this show, and you fucking killed him.
Oh, George R. Martin killed him over 2 years ago. So basically, he's been dead for a long time, and you're just now realizing it. It's like when you're at the Oscars, when they do the memoriam, like all the people that died the past year, and like, oh shit, that guy died? Yeah, that's kind of how it's been.
He was too good of a character to live. That's the way this show works. Just like Ned, just like Renly, just like every other good person, just like Rob. They were all far too good to live.
Yeah, I know, but at some point though, you kind of felt like, and you're right, and the foreshadowing was there all season long, even with when Jon chopped off the guy's head, just like his dad did in season 1. Even Stannis kind of warned him, you're going down the same path as your father, and it got him killed. And so, I mean, the foreshadowing was there, but I figured at some point this show, you can't kill everybody. At some point, you have to have somebody that you have to root for. And for me, I hitched my wagon to Jon, and I love the guy. So, like Ryan pointed out, it's not just, I guess I shouldn't say, fuck you, HBO. I should say, fuck you, George R. R. Martin. You bearded son of a bitch, evil Santa looking son of a whatever.
You're just upset because you picked the wrong person.
You know what?
You picked the wrong person to get attached to.
You should have picked a Lannister. That's what you should have picked, because the Lannisters.
Next season, Kyle, when Arya gets gaffled because she does the right thing and you're crying, I'm gonna remember you said that.
That's never gonna happen.
It is gonna happen. But yeah,
sorry.
No, that's okay.
Go ahead. No, I was going to say, now Brian knows 9 months ago when I sent him a text message basically saying the same thing that Brian has been saying, and I threw my book across the room after I read Jon Snow getting killed. It was a lot different in the book. Jon Snow, actually, do you guys want me to spoil the book a little bit, or?
Oh, yeah, sure.
Go ahead. Why not? Dead's dead.
Well, Jon Snow had been integrating the wildlings for months and sending them to different castles along the wall to fortify them. And he gets a message from the wildling king was actually still alive. Mm-hmm. And he was impersonating the Lord of Bones, that one guy that comes up at Hardhome and he just gets stabbed straight off from the beginning. No, that's the king's been pretending to be him because Missandei's kept him alive. And so he had gone down to Winterfell pretending to be a bard with a bunch of girl wildlings, and they go in there to kill Bolton and all those people, but they get caught by Ramsay Bolton, or no, Ramsay. Shit, I can't think of his name. The young one that's a little shithead.
Yeah, Ramsay.
Yeah, Ramsay. Okay. Ramsay catches them and sends Jon Snow a letter saying basically, I'm in Winterfell, fuck you, fuck your family, fuck everybody. Jon Snow finally breaks, and he's pissed off, and he gets all the wildlings to go with him, and he's gonna go attack Winterfell with all the wildlings and just take back Winterfell. And then when he's walking out, it was 1-1, that giant. he's like getting killed by a bunch of guys, and John's like, "What the fuck is going on?" And then like they all stab him, save for the watch. But like in the book, like he's like, "Fuck this! Like fuck the wall! I'm gonna go to Winterfell. I'm taking all the wildlings with me." And like, and then he gets killed. But this was kind of a little more interesting how they did it. But
I don't know if I would say it was more interesting. It was more bastard-like.
Yeah.
yeah,
Those
when they
guys
said,
are assholes.
"Your uncle's still alive." Oh, what? My uncle's still alive?
Yeah, and not just that, he's been such a cool character that we've watched grow through 5 seasons. In a lot of ways, he's a lot like Robb, but Robb died so early that you didn't really get any kind of story arc with him. You know, you got an arc, but you didn't get any growth with Robb. And with Jon, you've seen him from a very, from young age kind of grow into the commander of the Night's Watch and become a hero. And he didn't even get to go out like a hero. He went out, Julius Caesar style, stabbed by, Oliver delivering the last. I mean, you could see that coming. Oliver's been giving him the stank eye for weeks now, and he's a little kid. But I mean, and he delivers the final blow, and he just goes out like a. I mean, even when he sees the traitor, it's like he knows. He turns around, and he's like, "Shit, this is gonna happen." Are you kidding me? And you know what? I have a beef. Where the hell is Ghost? Okay, every time Jon's in trouble before, Ghost just shows up out of nowhere and just fucking eats everybody.
Hey, Ghost saved Sam.
Well,
Fucking
yeah, he saves Sam. Saves Sam, but he can't save.
Badass.
He's the worst dire wolf ever, dude. Worst, terrible, bad wolf.
But I'm wondering what Sam's gonna do because he's all off at the Citadel now with Gilly.
Yeah.
And he's gonna be super depressed. Like I don't know if he's gonna like even come back to the wall. He just might say fuck it. And,
what's he gonna do? Eat everybody? I mean, he can't fight.
Yeah.
I mean, he has no powers. I mean, that's so. Moving on from just our pure rage about Jamal Myers' pure rage about Jon Snow. All of us, I think, we're all equally angered by Jon Snow dying. But where are they gonna go with the story of the North? I know we have Bran. And was it Recon? He's still out there in the world doing God knows what. But who's going to be the hero of the North? Because Jon really carried that storyline and integrated the whole White Walker storyline. He was kind of the spearhead for that part of this whole overarching story of Game of Thrones. So with Jon gone now, none of the other tools that are at the at the wall are you going to root for or even care about. So I mean, who's going to season 6? Who do we think's going to kind of take that mantra, or is that story just toast for a while?
It's up to Sam.
I think my prediction is that the White Walkers are going to just take down the wall, and it's going to be up to like Bran and Sansa and Reek and maybe Arya come back. She's still alive in the book, at the end, of this season and in the book, even though she's blind now. But in the book, you kind of get. There's a little bit more story to her that they didn't show in this season. So there's still hope for the Starks.
Well, there's still a lot of Starks out there. I just, so, I mean, I'd probably have to say Bran.
It's just like the younger, they keep getting younger and weaker.
Mm-hmm.
And, I mean, Bran's a tree. And Arya is practically just going to be a murderous rampager, basically.
Yeah. So
she can clean off her list. But I mean, I have no idea what's going to happen next, and that's kind of the interesting part for all this, because the books and the show are all stalled, and so now it's kind of everybody's playing the guessing game of if George R. R. Martin's going to finish the book before next season, which he's saying could be a possibility.
Mm-hmm.
So,
well, even if he finishes the books, there's absolutely no guarantee that they are going to follow them.
Mm-hmm.
Because they've pretty much officially said we're going off script.
Mm-hmm. So what do you guys think? Well, what do you guys think about the possibility? I know there's a lot of people out there, myself included, that were when Jon did die. Last little thing about Jon here is that when he did die, that it was kind of Melisandre showing back up right when he died. She's obviously the Lord of Light, has brought people back to life in the past. Some of us are hopeful that Jon Snow will come back at some point in the series. Now, George R. R. Martin has always kind of hinted after the book, after Dance with Dragons came out, that not everybody stays dead in his show, and just because they're dead now doesn't mean they're going to stay dead. Kit Harington, the actor, said that he was given the talk and that he can confirm he won't be in season 6. But what do we think about the possibility of that some point maybe Jon Snow is coming back? Because they did leave it open that they couldn't say about season 7, but the showrunners did say that if George had changed something up before they did something that they liked, that they could go with the storyline. So, I mean, do we think dead is dead and Jon is a goner, period, or do we think there's a possibility he could come back at some point?
Well,
No, he's not coming back, I don't think.
I don't think Jon Snow's coming back. The Mountain is obviously back.
Yeah.
And that's kind of interesting. That's all they've shown in the book too. Like the Mountain, like picks her up and like, I brought you your prize. And he's
that's gonna end well.
yeah, an undead 7.5 foot tall brute is kind of interesting. It's like
could nobody else in King's Landing not notice that like his skin behind his mask is like dead and like bluish green?
Oh, that's why he's taking a vow of silence, Brian. Because he's butt ugly. He's like Deadpool under there.
They're gonna notice he smells a little bit when he's just rotten for a while. I mean, summer's still there.
Like, hey, have you taken? They got a squire, and he doesn't take off his armor. He just polishes it so they don't have to like take it off. And I don't know.
I always got the impression that the Mountain was probably never the best smelling guy in the first place. So I'm sure nobody's noticing a difference.
Yeah, well, that's true. And even if they did, who's going to go up and say, "Hey, Mountain, you kind of let's put some deodorant on."
Yeah, I'm sure nobody's going to run up and say, "Hey, you used to be a lot more talkative."
Oh man. So kind of segueing from the Mountain, Cersei. What do we think about her little walk of shame that she had to go there? And what do we think is going to happen with her character moving forward? I clearly thought she was going to die. I figured she wasn't going to make it out of the season, and she obviously does. I don't know. What do we think going forward, kind of with her and maybe the psycho religious cult?
Well, it's not just a cult. That's like the main religion now. That's just how it is now. It's gone rather extreme. And I don't. Did they say anything about Queen Marjorie in the show?
Nope.
Her or her brother?
Nope. No telling. But I have no doubt that Cersei's gonna send the Mountain after everybody.
Yeah. Well,
she's gonna send him on a rampage.
Well, he had the ominous at the end. He's like, he is here to do your bidding and take care of any enemies you may have. It's like, oh, well, that's a long list.
Yeah.
He's gonna be busy.
Like, I remember the last time I tried this with somebody. It worked out so well. I'll just try it again.
So real quick, Ryan, obviously you've read the books. So with this religious thing, I know in this season they've done their best to kind of try and build it up, but it also, even at the end, you don't really feel how widespread this religion's gotten. It still, to me, feels like the king could just order his knights to go in there and kill all of them and just be done with it. But I mean, clearly it's not that. So I mean, is it much bigger in the books than it is in the show?
In the books, it's basically like it's kind of taken over the city of King's Landing, but it doesn't seem like it's spread, beyond that. It's mostly that it's just been contained within King's Landing, trying to cleanse it. And I think what their goal is, what they kind of hint at, the goal is to cleanse King's Landing, and then they can cleanse the rest of Westeros. But that's kind of at the point where they gotten in the books. I'm just like now all these things that I'm remembering that they didn't show in the HBO, but it happened in the book at the exact same time. Like Cersei, and like what happened with Queen Marjorie. That's I don't want to say too much on those parts, but there's lots more people to die.
Yeah, God, they killed a lot of people in this episode. There was a lot of people that kind of got wiped off the board, so to speak. Some kind of big pieces that moved. Dorne was one of those things this season that was kind of very disappointing. It was very lackluster, the Dorne storyline, but the end kind of finished on killing Cersei's daughter is not going to least I'm assuming she died. You know, I mean, I guess technically they didn't see her completely die on screen, so it's possible she's not dead. But I mean, let's all assume that she's a goner. You know, I don't know.
Yeah, when you got blood coming out of your nose and stuff like that, I don't think that's very good for you.
Yeah. I am a little surprised that they dedicated so much of the season to Dorne, where really the only storyline was the one we got, and it, you know, ultimately she died. That was the whole point. He went to rescue her and he couldn't, and she ends up dying anyway. And it seems like a lot of season was dedicated to that storyline that was kind of anticlimactic.
Yeah, it kind of is in the book too. It's like
Really?
they don't really dedicate too much to it, and it's kind of more just, like in the background, like you kind of hear like bits and pieces.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of did. You guys like the Braun and
Yeah, that was cool.
like that little thing he had going with one of the? They didn't have that in the book. So
Yeah, I really think that whole storyline right there that we saw was just the tip of the iceberg. It felt anticlimactic because there was no climax. That's
Mm-hmm.
just the beginning.
Yeah, well, and you could be right. I know they've already apparently. I know they're either shooting or starting to set up for the next season already on Game of Thrones. And I know they're going back to, I think, Spain. They have a lot more shooting in Spain again, and that's where they shot Dorne. So clearly, Dorne's going to be a big part of season 6 and maybe season 7. But yeah, it was. That was my one real complaint with this season is I just thought the whole Dorne storyline was very lackluster. But like you said, if they're setting up for more things to come in next season or season 7, I mean, at some point the Walkers are winter's coming. I mean, and if anybody's left to fight the White Walkers, I mean, I'm sure you're gonna have to unite the 7 kingdoms to fight everybody, or maybe I don't even know anymore.
yeah, it's everything seems very dire, even at this point in the books. Like you really have no idea. Like if it, like I'm still expecting an asteroid to die, like just to come in and just kill everybody, because it just doesn't seem like there's any way like anyone's gonna have anything nice happen to them, or like if they, like say if Daenerys like wins, like all her dragons are gonna be dead, and everyone she loves is gonna be dead, but hey, she'll be sitting on the Iron Throne, and you know, good job. But it's like I don't think there's a like slightly happy ending for anybody, even if something good, quote unquote good, happens to them.
I don't think there have been any happy endings in the whole story.
Mm.
Define
Has
happy.
any? Well, yeah. Has anybody had a satisfactory resolution to any story
Oh,
in this
Tyron,
series?
he got to shoot his dad on a crapper.
Tyrion?
Tyrion,
Yeah,
yeah.
that wasn't too bad.
And he's hanging out Marine now, and Varys is back.
I don't know.
And
Littlefinger seems to be skating unscathed so far.
yeah, yeah, he's been able to, and I'm still trying to figure out what his end game is. Like, does he think he's going to become the
Yeah,
you know,
he's
a
trying to
king?
be. He said that was last season when we found out he's the one who murdered Joffrey, that he basically found out he was behind a lot of everything. He was behind Ned dying and a lot of the whole thing because he also wants to be on the throne. I mean, he kind of admitted that to Sansa when she was at the Eyrie about how he wants to be king, and you can't be king unless you break some eggs, whack some people.
Shove wives down giant
Throw
oak
them right out
holes.
Yeah, I don't know. You're right. There's really been no happy. I'm starting to honestly think that when this ends, everything that we know about the show is going to be over. The wall is going to be down. The White Walkers are going to be dead. The dragons are going to be dead. All the houses are going to be obliterated, and people are just going to start over again.
Yeah, and it'll just be like, yeah, I have no idea. I mean, I'm guessing in the next season book, it's like it just seems like everyone's gonna die, and there's literally no hope for the wall now. Like Jon Snow, obviously the wildlings are gonna get massacred, or I don't even know if they have enough of the watch. There's even enough guys to fight with wildlings that Jon Snow let through.
Well,
I mean,
and real quick to kind of finish up, we'll move on and talk a little bit about Daenerys before we finish, but back to the wall in the north. So we had a bunch of storylines kind of conclude this episode. These last couple seasons have been really heavy about the north. This season a lot. But with Stannis, we finally have the Stannis Baratheon storyline kind of finally come to an end. And
way to burn your daughter, dick face.
oh God, man! I mean, we all knew bad things were going to happen to him when he lit up his daughter as a crispy critter. Man, that was terrible.
Father of the year, right there.
Oh man, I mean, was anybody surprised that he was? I'm kind of shocked that he was shocked that half his men left him after that.
Well, I was shocked that they did it because that doesn't happen in the book.
Yeah.
Because in the book, the daughter, wife, and Missandra all get left at the wall with Jon Snow, and then Stannis takes the army south, and Jon Snow tells him how to recruit all the small tribes that are up in the north, and so Stannis actually builds up his army. He has a lot of extra guys.
So what? They just it's a much bigger battle in the books because
No.
See, this episode was just a whitewash. I mean, he showed up and they just massacred him, and
yeah,
I thought it was kind of funny. Ramsay, the only scene he got, even then he was still a dick. He's just like, well, that's about that, and then he's like, oh,
yeah.
One more person.
Yeah, Stannis died in the book. He was basically his army has the winter that had pretty much got his whole army stuck, and they're eating dead horses and all that, and then they got nothing left, and they get attacked by Ramsay, and that's how they died in there. I mean, it's still kind of similar, just they did it was different.
I mean, now we have the Boltons. Obviously, Sansa, that whole storyline, a lot of people were very upset about because she's not really. Was somebody else that Reek helped escape in the Arya impersonator in the book. So everyone was mad about that, but. Even that storyline felt kind of unfulfilling. She doesn't really get any revenge. She just kind of escapes, from a situation.
Yeah, but at least Theon, maybe he'll be back to being Theon again.
Yeah,
well, we think all we saw was them jump.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
And also too, he'll never fully be Theon again.
Yeah, when you get your dick cut off, I mean,
that's so brutal. But I don't know. I mean, Stannis, the one thing about Stannis, they finally wrapped up the Stannis Baratheon storyline. It's the one real link back to the first season. I mean, if you think about it now, we've completely moved on from the whole first season. I mean, obviously there's things in motion from the events of that, but, he was the last king, of the, 5 kings that was still trying to get to the throne. So now pretty much the throne, there's nobody opposing it other than Daenerys' storyline, and now she's out in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah. And the book ended a lot differently for how the HBO did it. Mm-hmm. But I mean, it's Drogo's still taking her and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, I mean, I have a feeling. I don't know. I'm conflicted because from how the book ends with her, it's vastly different than how the show ended with her. So I don't want to say anything that gives that major storyline away. That's the last kind of storyline I'm invested in. I think.
Well, that's what I mean. Here's my thing: Can George R.R. can he kill Daenerys? Can this series survive if he kills her? Or
yes,
you think so? But how? Who do you root for? I mean, what if? Okay, so let's say next season they kill Tyrion and Daenerys. Who do you root for? I mean, what are we watching at that point?
Jaime. He's kind of on a path. Well, in the books, he's more on a path of redemption. He's basically telling Cersei to fuck herself, and he just doesn't give a shit about her anymore.
I do like Jaime. He is definitely that was actually pretty heartbreaking. He finally comes clean with his daughter. Kind of has his first father relationship because he's always been so distant from his kids. Because he obviously has to be, but he finally has kind of a father-daughter moment, and then she freaking dies.
Yeah.
George is a sadist, man. That dude's a bastard.
When you're an old man that types your manuscripts on DOS, what is it? I can't remember what it's called, but a DOS program that's not hooked up to the internet or anything like that. And maybe he's just crazy. Who knows?
Well, all I know is we mentioned on the Geek Dad Report last week that he was getting tired of people sending him hate mail. All I know is he's about to get a lot. now.
Yeah, he might just be like, "Fuck you guys, I'm gonna kill everybody." Watch this.
He might just need to go hide for a while, man, because I don't think he's gonna be too popular. But I don't know.
I would love to read some of his replies to those letters, especially people complaining about something he did 2 years ago.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
You killed my favorite character 2 years ago, and I found out about it by not by reading your book, but by watching the show based on your book.
Because I
Yes.
didn't want to read your book. Yeah,
They're
because I'm too
just
lazy
too
to read a book.
big. They're really thick.
Yeah, they cause me
And
to
I
make
have
me.
no
They,
literacy.
I have to use my brain and my eyes. I don't want to do that. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe his FU to the fans is the whole book 7 is actually just his replies to all his hate mail.
That would be funny.
Or he ends with like a ... And as the comet fell, everyone looked up and ... the end. It's like, oh, what happened?
So what are your guys' predictions for next season? How about that? How about we can? It's kind of easy to say what all happened, but now it's open. There's
Well, before we
the
move
book
on to
people
next
and the
season,
book
is there any
show.
real quick before we move on to talk about next season, which I do want to talk about next season real quick, but is there anything else about this season that we want to talk about, or anybody, Kyle, you got anything you want to add to our discussion? Is there anything that we've left out that any final thoughts about season 5?
I think we've pretty much touched on just about everything. I think next season Sam's going to play a really big role.
Okay, well, we have talked about everything season 5, so season 6. Or you think Sam's going to play a huge role? Obviously, he's the last connection to our newly dead ex-favorite character in the Wall. How do you feel he's going to play such a big role? Do you think he's going to come back to the Wall, or do you think he's just going to go become a maester and maybe gain power, or
figure out how to make dragon glass or something, or
Yeah, he's. I think he's gonna go. He's gonna go off with the go off to the Citadel, and he's going to figure out or find the method for making Valerian steel, and bring that back to the Wall.
Steel.
Mm-hmm.
Very cool. Well, he did. He did. John did kind of part that little nugget to him before he left. So, Ryan, what do you think? Season 6.
I think season 6 is gonna have Daenerys going back to Westeros. But I think they're gonna give her time to let her dragons grow a little bit bigger.
Mm-hmm.
And because Drogo almost fucking died.
Yeah.
And when the original king took over Westeros, his dragons were like fully grown.
Mm-hmm.
So and they're unstoppable when they're fully grown. So they're still very vulnerable at this point. I don't want to say too much just because the like I said in the books, a lot more stuff has obviously happened, with the dragons and with where they leave off on Daenerys. I think Bran is going to come back. We're going to get to see what a Treant thing looks like in the George R.R. Martin world. Maybe they'll sing some tree songs and see how he lost all his tree brothers, and they'll make a tree rebellion.
Wait, did we already see that in like Lord of the Rings Part 2? Isn't that?
Oh yeah, I have no idea. It's kind of exciting. It's at a point where it's kind of fresh and new for everybody. So not.
Yeah. Well, and I think my prediction for season 6 is, instead of giving specific storylines, because I will say this. The last thing I do want to say about the whole Jon Snow thing is that it finally, this was the death that finally got me to the point where not that I don't care, but I'm not vested anymore in anybody. Like I finally, you think after the Red Wedding and everything else, and that you would not be attached to, but I'm finally at the point now where I guess I don't know. I won't be nervous for anybody anymore because
I'm willing to bet that you'll find yourself invested in Tyrion. And
I'm already invested in Tyrion, but I mean, I don't know.
Well, I don't know how if he dies next season.
Well, it's just for me like
he's not like the most like they said, so you're not a great warrior. How's your horse riding skills? Middling, and and he basically just says he's average, but he has the capacity to govern.
Well, yeah, but I'll be honest. I mean, the Daenerys, her whole storyline was really getting kind of stagnant this whole season. It was kind of dragging down, and when Tyrion showed up, the whole thing just livened up and became much, much better. So, and obviously now they've split them up again. So, I don't know. I'm not really vested, but anyway, that being said, I think season 6, I think we're really going to see the return of magic. I think the show is really going to start getting much more supernatural and fantasy driven. They've been kind of laying the groundwork and slowly, kind of building up more and more magic. I mean, we saw more of the White Walkers this year than we have in a long time.
Just go.
You get the Lord of Light. You've got a lot of different religions now really starting to take root, and you got the return of Bran that's coming back. So obviously,
well, it's interesting because in the book you find out something about the Lord of Light toward the end, and about Missandra. And they didn't really introduce that on the HBO show. So I'm wondering just kind of how they're going to play out her storyline.
Well, yeah, she's clearly alive. So, well, I mean, she's got more to tell. But I just think that it's going to... I feel like the Wars of Man, I feel like the storyline of soldiers and fighting has kind of... There's really no one really left to fight, honestly. I mean, Stannis' armies are gone. You got the Boltons, who are pretty much going to be unopposed now, unless... I don't know what Littlefinger's going to do. He's obviously got his own kind of little army, and there's obviously what's going on at King's Landing. But even the Daenerys storyline seems so far away from Westeros still. I mean, I feel like we were not going to actually... I know you think she might make her way over there, but I think if she does, it's not going to be till like episode 10 of season 6. I feel like, season 7 is really going to be... the first half will be her coming her way over, then the last half will be the White Walkers versus the dragons, probably. But... I just feel like a lot more magic is going. I think as the show's kind of shown as the dragons grow, so does the magic in the realm. So I don't know. I mean, the dragons have kind of marked the return of magic in Westeros. So that's what I think is going to happen next year.
And it's kind of interesting because there are some characters that HBO just doesn't even talk about that are in the books, and there's at least one character that's doing well, yeah, I would say he's doing some pretty major stuff, and it's like it's so hard.
We'll save that. We don't want to spoil. We don't want to spoil anything too much. I will say this: I'm very excited that the book people finally don't have a hold it over our heads, that they know exactly what's going to happen.
You don't get someone telling you at a birthday party what happened to Jon Snow.
Yeah, so spoiler alert, what Ryan's talking about is yesterday I was talking to a guy who really likes Game of Thrones, and was telling him we were going to do a special and we were going to talk about it, and he's like, do you really think that they're going to fill Jon Snow full of arrows? And I'm like, really? Really?
Well, it wasn't arrows.
Yeah, that's what Ryan told me.
There was a whole bunch of stabby stabs.
But at that point, once that name gets brought up, but you know what, to be brutally honest, it's not like I was completely taken off guard. I've had this feeling in the pit of my stomach for the last 2 seasons that Jon Snow's days were numbered.
Well, Robb Stark was, I think, a pure shock for people. Nobody saw that coming. But I think with Jon Snow, they kind of had some decent foreshadowing this season that it doesn't seem like it's going too well for him.
So, yeah, well... I guess that's all there is to say. Rest in peace, Jon Snow.
Pour out an ale.
Pour out something from my dead homie. No, I don't know. You guys got any final thoughts before we get off here?
I'm just glad that I have no idea what's going on now. So everything is everything kind of, it's more exciting for me than any part of the whole HBO series now, because I really don't know what's going to happen next. I have a little bit with a couple of characters, but other than that, it feels like the start of season 1 for me almost.
That's true.
I think they've done everything they can possibly do to shock the audience. So we're in for some good storytelling next.
Yeah,
everyone got to see Cersei's boobs for a whole bunch. So.
Oh yeah, but that wasn't awkward at all.
Yeah,
No.
no, that's not like when you see. That's not like hot, like ooh, she's naked.
Oh,
That's like oh, they're spitting on her,
yeah,
calling
you
her
know how many
the C
dudes are out
word,
there, like,
and showing their penises to her. It was just really bad. That was kind of like, ew.
hey, and we got to see a penis, so
Well, I'm glad
you
you're happy
know,
about that.
That
And
was an
don't say that the
agonizing
show is not
scene.
equal to men and women alike.
yeah. They showed a penis for 1/10 of a second, and you got to see her walk naked for 3 minutes. So
Well, once again, I have to say that season 5 was a success, obviously, and kind of what you were saying too, Kyle, is the fact that we all know the show is shocking. The fact that they can still shock you at the end is, I guess, a testament to how well they're doing. How well the show's written and acted.
it's now I'm just looking forward to a lot more people dying next year that I actually don't like, and
Yeah.
so let's just do it for one thing. Who's the one person that you want to be on the throne right now, or who do you think is going to end up on the throne?
Sam's baby, Sam, baby
Sam.
Sam. I don't
Kyle?
know. I'm gonna stick with Recon. I've said Recon for the youngest Stark forever because he just disappears and no one knows where he is. So I'm gonna say he's gonna come back in like the last episode of season 7, the final episode, and just be like this total ninja badass, and then just dominate. He'll have 2 dire wolves and 3 giants. He'll have like a reindeer sled of dire wolves.
Yeah, aren't there like 5 direwolves up for grabs now?
No, I think there's only
Well-
3.
No, there's Wolf, or Snow.
Mm-hmm.
Arya's is still alive. Rickon's is still alive, but with Rickon.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
And Bran's. Bran's
Bran.
still with him.
Yeah,
Right.
they've only killed 2.
Because they
okay.
killed Lady. Oh yeah, you're right. Because they killed Lady and they killed whoever
Rob's.
was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. So what do we think is going to happen with Ghost? So there's one more popular theory, real quick, to kind of touch base on the last thing, is that because apparently in the books Jon Snow's a warg. Is that what it's called? Where they can basically jump their body into another animal. One of the popular theories is that Jon Snow. I kept waiting for his eyes to turn white at the very end. That people think that he's going to jump his spirit into Ghost, and Ghost will be Jon Snow.
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Well, we haven't talked about Brienne of Tarth at all. What do you guys think is going to happen with her? Her quest to find Sansa? She fucking missed the whole light thing by like.
I think she's going to continue to wander the earth and not accomplish anything.
Yeah.
Maybe she's going to sit on the throne. That'll be her quest. I don't know.
But I think that she might. Yeah, I have no idea what's going to happen with her because it just seems like they just really like to show her showing up 5 minutes too late to every single fucking party, and
Yeah,
Well,
I feel
not
like
this
at some
time.
point it's going to get her killed.
Not this. She showed up right on time this time.
yeah, she got to kill Stannis. So
true. It was cool to see her actually finally accomplish one of the goals that she's been trying to do.
yeah, she did one thing, so we gave her that.
Yeah. Whatever. But hey, he wasn't killed on screen. We don't know he's actually dead. Maybe he's actually still alive.
Looks like a pretty good death stroke to me.
Yeah, no, she murdered him. He deserved it. He killed his daughter. So, all right. Well, like I said, we let's wrap it up. Anybody got any final thoughts?
No, I'm happy. I'm actually happy that I don't know what's going on now. So you guys can continue being sad.
I know. I feel better now that we've
No,
talked through
I'm
this.
good.
I hope anybody watches this. This is good therapy. I'm still angered. So George, I'm sorry I called you names earlier. I'm still mad. I'm just heartbroken that you killed my favorite guy. But hopefully you spend some time writing the last 2 books so we can end this storyline before there's no one left to win.
Kyle, any last thoughts?
I'm just happy I no longer have to drag my heels reading the books.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I can just go take off and finish them. I can finish the books without worrying about really spoiling the show. Maybe a few pieces, but it's not going to be too bad.
How far back are you on the books?
See what, book 3?
I'm on book 1.
So,
I got a little ways to go.
yeah, I think I stopped about halfway through book 3 when I started to realize that I was getting into portions of the story that they hadn't touched on in the show. So I said, I'm going to stop now.
Well, and it's such a good show. I mean, not the shows don't like this come along every day, and you don't want to ruin. I mean, as good as the books are, the show is fantastic. So even if you hate it, it's still one of the best shows on television, if not the best show on television.
But we gotta wait until next season, and
All right, now
maybe I won't know shit anymore. That'd be great.
now we've got the 40-week wait.
But if the book comes out, I'm buying it the first week. I mean, I'm a fan of the book first.
Great.
So,
We'll have to listen to you be all pompous again for a whole other season.
oh, I haven't done. I'm not mean. What?
I know. I'm just giving you shit. All right, guys. Well, it's about all the time we got. Hopefully, we can hopefully helped you guys deal with your anger issues and your sadness.
Yes.
And
Jon Snow's been dead for years.
no,
Fucking
he hasn't. He just died tonight.
Deal with it.
It's a sad day of mourning. All right, everybody. Adios, and remember, winter's coming.
There's.
Good job, Ollie. Savior of the North.
You have failed the city, Ollie. All right, later.
Damn it, Ollie!
Winter's coming.